Imbolc? I think it's more Imbolc. Imbolc. I don't know. Hi, I'm Mythic Azure, and today we're here to talk about Imbolc. Imbolc is a cross-quarter pagan holiday that falls between the winter solstice and spring equinox. Imbolc is celebrated from February 1st to the sunset of February 2nd. I couldn't figure out if this was technically a Wiccan or a Celtic holiday. It seems like it is a Celtic holiday, but that Wicca really popularized it. So a lot of resources on it are Wiccan. While not Wiccan myself, I do appreciate that this holiday is a representation of spring slowly coming out of the cold, dark winter. Imbolc is presumed to be an old Irish word that means in the belly. This references pregnant and lactating ewes and the fertility of the season. Now, here's what I found interesting. Imbolc is a fire festival in spring. I found that so interesting. That seems so weird to me because spring is all about earth to me and flowers and insects and branches coming to life with blossoms. So to think of it as fire is very interesting to me and something I wanted to look into. I don't celebrate a lot of cross-quarter festivals, so I don't know a lot about them, but I learned that cross-quarter festivals are often fire-related. For Imbolc, a bonfire was lit in honor of a Celtic triple goddess. Now, I might not say her name right. I think it's Breed or Breed, but I'm not sure. The way it's spelled, it seems like Brigid, but it's Breed or Breed. Here, fire was used as a form of purification. It was also symbolic of this goddess's connection to hearth and home, blacksmithing, and crafting. This goddess, whose name I'm trying not to butcher too often, it was also over poetry and healing. I also thought of this connection between fire and healing very interesting because fire is usually seen as like an action, passion, and then water, I feel like, and earth are usually the healing elements. So to incorporate a goddess with both fire and healing, I found very interesting. She's also represented by fertility, springtime, and prophecy. I thought the connection to prophecy was also very interesting, and I thought it might be a good time for divination if she is over prophecy. The spiritual meaning of Imbolc is similar to the other cross quarter festivals. It is a time of transition. It's a change from the stillness of winter to the early stirrings of spring. It's a holiday for calm reflection and intention. The themes for Imbolc include purification, renewal, preparation, and hope. This holiday I associate with the waxing crescent moon phase. It's the energy of quietly beginning to grow, unseen beneath the surface. It's related to that moment just before you initiate the action. Symbols associated with Imbolc include plants like snowdrops, crocuses, daffodils, and dandelions. For Imbolc, I plan on creating a digital art piece involving these flowers. For herbs, it's associated with bay, lavender, and rosemary. I think bay would go very well with the association with prophecy and psychic powers. A good way to incorporate bay leaf would be to burn it or incorporate it into a spell jar or a dish to enhance your psychic awareness on Imbolc. The colors associated with Imbolc are white, green, and yellow, although some people also include red and pink. A multitude of animals are associated with Imbolc, but the ones I saw referenced most often were cows and sheep, as well as some birds like larks and robins. Also, swans. I have no idea why swans, but swans. Imbolc is also a time that a lot of people do food offerings to Brigid, the goddess. She enjoys a lot of dairy related foods. Common offerings include butter, beer, oatcakes, milk, and dandelion wine. I'm not really an offering person and I don't know this goddess like that, but if that's your type of thing, go for it. Some stones associated with Imbolc include citrine, garnet, and amethyst. Citrine and garnet are fiery stones that are symbolic of the vigor and passion that's slowly beginning to stir with Imbolc. Amethyst would also go well with the association with prophecy and divination. Meditating with these crystals would be a really good idea to help you resonate with their properties. Foods that are associated with Imbolc are milk, butter, cheese, and pancakes. Why pancakes? Not sure. The association with dairy comes from the, as I said, lactating ewes of the time, and it being one of the more readily available foods that they would have had at this time. Meditation is a great way to celebrate this holiday as it focuses on reflection and that moment between inertia and action. Reflection also means journaling would be a wonderful activity for this holiday. It's definitely a holiday about looking inwards and reflecting and planning just before you begin starting your actions for spring. You can decorate your altar with symbols and colors associated with Imbolc. You can spend time in nature as you watch the spring and the blossoms slowly begin to form, especially the first flowers like dandelions, daffodils, and snowdrops. Of course, because this holiday was also associated with fire and bonfires, you could light a candle or start a small fire or a bonfire if you have the space, as long as you do it safely. Fire symbolizes purification and the beginning of action. Another way to celebrate is spring cleaning or spiritually cleansing to clear your space before you set new intentions. Because of this goddess's association with crafts and poetry, these are wonderful things to do to celebrate this holiday. Writing poetry is also a wonderful form of reflection, in my opinion, and crafts are also honestly a wonderful form of meditation in some ways because they kind of get you in the flow and depending on the craft and it kind of leads to this sort of meditative state. This holiday is also heavily associated with planting seeds, and honestly, I think in my climate, this is the time to plant seeds inside so they can be ready and sprouted by the time you put them outside in maybe March or April. I'm not sure, but I'm really considering getting some gardening stuff because I really want to garden again. I just need covered pots so that my cats don't get into the dirt. Cats. The final one that I really want to do is to create a simmer pot. This simmer pot would be filled with seasonal herbs, citrus, and spices to bring in warmth, positive energy, and to make your house smell divine. For myself, for Imbolc, as I said, I would love to plant some seeds. I really want to start a little light balcony garden. I also plan on lighting a candle and meditating. I really want to see if I can kind of connect to this energy of transition, of just getting ready to start again. I think I really need that right now because I just spent all of winter break like in the house and I kind of need to get ready and start, living again. I also plan on cleaning my house, but whether or not that'll happen as much as I want it to or on the level that I want it to is debatable, but I really want to try and clean. I would love to spend time in nature, but it's pretty cold out and icy and slippery, so I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But I really want to do a simmer pot, and it is also icy and wet and snowy outside. So I don't know if I'll be able to get the ingredients, but if I can, then I'm totally doing a simmer pot. I love simmer pots. I love the way they smell. Oh, they're so nice. And I haven't done one like at all for the year or for last year, really. I may or may not journal, but I definitely want to try the divination. I really want to use my tarot and my pendulum, and it'll be a stream day probably. I think Sunday, if not, it'll be right before it. So I think it would be a wonderful time to try some divination on stream, and we'll probably talk about Imbolc and all that stuff. Remember, don't forget about my Twitch, Mythic Azure, where Mythic_Azure, where we like to talk about these things, and I do tarot and divination, and we talk all the witchy stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do divination on. There is a full moon like right after Imbolc or during Imbolc, and I could do divination on whether or not I should do a spell for that because apparently you're supposed to do that with spells. You're supposed to divine before you do the spell to see whether or not you're supposed to do the spell. And I was like, yo, I should do that. I should do some divination before the spell. That seems like a good idea. I I kind of fly by the seat of my pants with magic a lot of the time, so I don't always do things the way you're supposed to. Things usually still work out, but I am interested in doing things in a more correct manner. Before this, I never really understood the concept of Imbolc, I think. I never kind of resonated or understood the fire festival concept or even knew about the fire festival concept. I knew it was kind of like the beginning of spring. It was very vague for me. But now I kind of understand it, and I like that idea of it's like a feeling I can imagine or kind of resonate with, of little blossoms just barely beginning to form in the ice, just slowly coming out of that hibernation of winter. And I don't know, I think resonating with the seasonal changes of things has always appealed to me. I've just never done it. So yeah, it seems like a nice thing to connect to. Sorry again if this one is short. I Imbolc is right around the corner. It is currently January 28th. And I'm making this video in a little bit of a rush because my friend just told me that Imbolc was around the corner. I was like, oh my god, I forgot about Imbolc. And she was like, you should make a video about this. And I was like, okay, I'll try. I'll see if I can, like get it in with a little bit of time that I have right now. So this is a little rushed. I'm sorry I don't have background information on everything, like pancakes. I just did a little bit of quick research, and I think this is enough for the average beginner to get started in practicing and celebrating Imbolc. Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hate saying it, but yeah, please subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of these. I would really appreciate some comments because I know there's people watching, but y'all are scared to comment, and that's valid. But I would really appreciate some comments, some feedback, and yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Happy Imbolc. Bye bye. Imbolc. I think it's more Imbolc. 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 I don't know. Anyway, bye bye.